What's up, guys? How we doing? This is Bo with the Bo Show, number 789. I'm not sure, but I'm here and I'm talking about things, which brings me to this week's topic. How many of you guys are boxing fans? How many of you guys like boxing? I've always been a boxing fan. Um, you know, boxing, boxing had a heyday. They say like the 60s, the 70s, 80s, 90s. The heavyweight, and even before that, um, out in New York, boxing was a celebrated sport. Um, internationally as well. But boxing has a lot of rich history. Um, as in the last 20 years, it seems like UFC has really kind of captured popular that popularity. And it's more like, UFC definitely has the crown, has the title right now as far as, revenue and interest for combat sports. But boxing is still no slouch. Boxing is still a gentleman's sport, as I'd like to call it. Obviously, UFC's got all this popularity and have all these endorsements and these ads. And they have the big, the big TV contracts right now. But the boxers are, the big dog, the top of the line boxers are still getting paid much more than any UFC fighter. UFC is popular, but those guys don't get paid anything, like anything. So it's interesting in that respect. Like UFC is so cool, but like your guys aren't making any money. Like it's interesting. But brings me to this week's debate about the state that the boxing world is in. And right now I want to say that UFC has had a good run over the last 20 years, Ultimate Fighting. But I want to say in the last 5, 6, 7 years, boxing has made a pretty good comeback, especially in what is it, the welterweight division. I'm not too I don't know about the divisions, to be honest with you, but I know that from 145 to 165, there's not even, maybe even 140. I want to say 140 to 165. There's a lot of good freaking boxers, man. There's a lot of them right now in their prime. In my opinion, Triple G is the best boxer in the world. That's just my opinion. Now that can be debated, but Triple G got robbed twice. Everybody knows it. I actually bet Canelo the first match, and he earned the draw, which I did agree with. My money was on the line, but I did agree with the draw call. And then the second fight, I really felt like Canelo won a close decision. But it's just the way it went. No, pardon me. Triple G, on the second fight, I felt Triple G won a close decision. But obviously Canelo got the victory on the cards. But this past weekend, Canelo fought the Crusher. He fought Sergey Kovalev, and I gotta give a shout out to Canelo Alvarez right now, straight up, because this man First of all, I have nothing respect for Canelo. I think he's a great fighter. But he just keeps on he just keeps on proving that he's a great fighter too. Like he just keeps on rising to the challenge. Um, there's a lot of critics. A lot of people aren't obsessed with Canelo. I like watching him. I'm a huge fan of Canelo Alvarez. Um, this weekend in particular was like a special moment. I want to say it was a special moment in his career. Obviously, when he fought Mayweather, that was a challenge, and Mayweather beat him, schooled him. When the two fights with Triple G, those were classic fights. Um, those are gonna go down in history. They should definitely do a trilogy, like soon. By the way, um, he's had some other good fights. This man turned professional at 15, 16 years old. Um, and he's my age. He's like 29, 30, something like that. Canelo is a G. But this fight this past weekend, I want to say, kind of put a stamp on his career, like as an all-time great. I want to say, because Sergey Kovalev is a big boy. Um, Sergey Kovalev is a lot bigger than Canelo Alvarez. Just naturally, just a bigger dude, and you could say he came down in weight, and that might have affected him. But Sergey, he could probably hold 215. He's what, 6 foot. He's like a long 6 foot though. Um, he's a big man, and maybe that weight coming down in weight hurt him. But I saw the highlights of the fight, and this man Kovalev really boxed well from the distance. Canelo didn't go to the body like many thought he was going to. Like I thought he was gonna be busy in the body, and that was gonna be an advantage for him all fight. But it's interesting. I want to see the scorecards on this fight because Canelo got the knockout, right? 11th round knockout, vicious knockout, one of the best knockouts I've ever seen him have. Um, a fade, punish, end. Like it was clean. It was a clean knockout in the 11th. But if you go to the punch count, man, Sergey Kovalev had 690 thrown punches when he got knocked out. Like his punch count tripled Canelo's. And so I mean, they both landed at about the same percentage. So if you go off that, Kovalev was far more aggressive. In the old school days, they they reward aggression. And his percentage, he landed just as many shots as Canelo did. Um, so you got to think, in the 11th round, after 700 punches, he fell into a trap and just ate a couple, and bam, it was over, just like that. But it'd be interesting to see the scorecards, what they were having it judged at that time when he got knocked out, because the old school way to judge matches is aggression, and he was definitely more aggressive. But here's what I gotta say about Canelo is this man has one of the greatest chins of all time. And I think this fight cements that and puts a staple on that, because he's boxing a guy that's 4 inches taller, 2.5 inch longer arm length reach, naturally weighs more, right? Just a bigger dude. Just straight up, just a guy, a 5'9" guy versus a 6', 6'1" guy. I mean, but the Sergey Kovalev is like, he holds his weight like he looks like he could probably play like outside linebacker. He's a big dude, um, and um, you know, to me, having thrown 700 shots and taken 700 shots from a bigger man for 11 rounds, like, that's saying something. And then to get a knockout, like, that's saying something. But Canelo has continuously proved his chin. Um, Sergey Kovalev is just a world class fighter in the light heavyweight division. So to go up in class against him is really impressive. Uh, it just speaks volumes about Canelo's career and what he's done, and how he's done it. I mean, you see it. When he fought Mayweather, Mayweather, did the Mayweather thing where he danced, he dodged, he ducked. He was just quicker and was able to be more precise. He wouldn't allow Canelo to catch him, as my dad would say. So that was a good test, but he ultimately lost that fight. The Triple G fights, man, like, after seeing this fight, after seeing the highlights of this fight, just makes me really does make me think Triple G is the best fighter in the world, though, because he lost on American soil, man, and he got robbed the first one. I mean, I agree with the draw, but many would say he got robbed the first one, and then the second one was closer. Definitely closer, but I want to say he won the second one. But so the punishment, the shots that Canelo took in that fight to get the wins out of those ones, though, just impressive. And then to come back and fight a bigger Russian and then get a knockout, not only tells me how good of a fighter Triple G is, but it also proves to me Canelo's chin. Because, I mean, he just fought probably the two best fighters in the world in their respective divisions, and beat them. Like, knocked one of them out and went blow for blow with the other one. Could have went either way. He fought Mayweather. 7 or 8 years ago. And took a lot of big punches in that fight. I saw him fight Miguel Cotto a few years back. Miguel Cotto was a slugger. But Canelo, man, like, he takes challenges, and like, he doesn't back down from anybody. He fights the best at their best. And has he ever been knocked down? Has Canelo Alvarez ever been knocked down? That's a question. I don't think so. He's never been faded. Like, if you go to the 10th round in the Triple G fight, though, Triple G had an opportunity to end that fight in the 10th round. He had Canelo dazed, and Canelo fought through it. But that's a testament. That's a testament to Canelo Alvarez's chin, and that's kind of what I'm emphasizing here. Is Canelo Alvarez has one of the best chins of all time. I want to say Mayweather probably, like, because when you talk about boxing, that's what it comes down to. It's like, who has the best chin? Who has the best chin? That's who. Usually, the guy with the best chin ends up being the world's greatest. Muhammad Ali had a chin of granite. That's what he's known for. Um, Muhammad Ali lost a few fights, but he never got decked really. Um, Mayweather Mayweather's probably the greatest defensive fighter of all time. Another person. He had one of the greatest chins of all time, and I want to say Canelo with this in this last fight kind of cements himself in that same class as far as I can take a hit better than anybody. Because that's what it comes down. That's the first thing. Can you take a hit? Um, if you can take a hit, first of all, that's when we're gonna find out, who you really are. Um, and so it's impressive, man. Um, that was an impressive win this past weekend. Um, like a lot of my buddy Johnny was telling me that he felt that Canelo was gonna win, and I was with him, but he won in a different way. Like he was patient. He was patient in this fight, and that's very interesting. That was an interesting tactic. Canelo's widely known as the bulldog, um, but he was patient in this fight. He's able to adjust. Canelo Alvarez has been able to adjust in his career. He's been able to fight different styles. And that's another thing that's impressive about him is he can be a slugger. He can fight from distance. He can go to the body. He can fight defensively. Um, and, he's just a great fighter. He's not a brawler. He's not a slugger. A lot of people kind of mistake him as a slugger, which he can be, but he's a good boxer, and people don't give him credit for that. But this last fight, I want to just say is, I think it's his best fight ever. I think this cements his legacy as an all-time great. Canelo Alvarez, I think he signed a deal. I think a year and a half ago, worth $300 million, and so he has to fulfill all of these fights over the course of the next few years. This was one of them. He fought somebody big. The Jacobs fight, he fought Jacobs. Jacobs had fought Triple G very well, and then Canelo came out and beat Jacobs. But then he came out and knocked out Sergey Kovalev. I mean, damn. Good stuff, man. That's good stuff. That's good for the sport. It's interesting with the Triple G Canelo matchup, because they went head to head both times. Honestly, both if you look at it from a relative sense, like both fights were draws. Honestly, that's truthfully and honestly the realness of it. Both fights were draws, and obviously it doesn't get scored that way, but that's when you look back at it 20, 30 years from now, you're gonna say, okay, yeah, those fools went even with each other. But it's interesting because Canelo is a little bit younger than Triple G. He's a good 7 or 8 years younger. Which it's easier for Canelo to kind of go in a new direction. Not that Triple G is not going to be successful, but he's gonna have to kind of prove himself outside of America, and but Michael Jordan sponsored Triple G. I mean, that he's on Team Jordan. I mean, people don't just get on Team Jordan. So that says enough in itself. Like straight up. So like in the first fight, Triple G owned that first fight. He came out, made a statement early, really kind of dominated the fight from the jump. Um, but Canelo, he stole the last 3 rounds. He stole the last 3 rounds, which got him the draw, and I agreed with it. I agreed with it. But their first fight, he just didn't look. Canelo was getting backed into the corner a lot. And then in the second fight, it was like role reversals. Um, but then it was the exact opposite. Canelo kind of had all the, and so in the first fight, he definitely was getting backed up, cornered a lot, but he had the big shots. He earned the biggest punches of the fight in order to get himself the draw, and then he won the last 3 rounds. In the second fight, Canelo came out leaner, lighter. He was quicker. He wasn't getting quartered as much, but and he kind of dictated the pace of the fight. And then Gennady Golovkin won the last 3 rounds of that fight. And Gennady Golovkin did almost knock Canelo out in the 10th round of that fight. If you go back and you check that was the days in that series, was the 10th round of the second fight. But Canelo got the decision slightly. So like they need. I mean, it's hard to make a third matchup because both of those guys can fight anybody they want. Um, Both of those guys can make money elsewhere. Um, so in Triple G's at a stage of his career where he's really probably only has 3 or 4 more good years left. Canelo has a lot longer. Canelo has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 good years left of boxing probably. So it's to make the trilogy happen. Um, it should. I want to see it, but there's been two stalemates, and yeah, obviously both guys are the best, the cream of the crop in that weight. So, but I'd like to see it, but I understand why it's not happening like right away. Boxing is politics, man. They gotta do what's best for themselves. They gotta make money. It's a brutal combat sport. But yeah, like, um, I respect Canelo, man. That was that was a true showing of grit, will, determination, strength, brute, raw, ability, and just physical toughness. I mean, this man does not take blows. He's taken one big blow in his career, really, and that was the 10th round of the second Triple G fight that he won. Um, so yeah, Canelo, much respect to you. I'm very excited to see who you're going to fight next. Um, you are taking the boxing world by storm, and I got nothing but respect for this man. Be very interesting to see. The other fight, another fight. Before I let you guys go, is fighter. I want to say is Buddy Crawford. Buddy Crawford, Terrence Bud Crawford. Uh, this man is legit too. A little bit smaller than Canelo. He's a little bit smaller. He's a good 10, 15 pounds lighter. Um, Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. Like in the boxing world, I'm gonna say Errol Spence in that 140 to 165 division. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez, um, Triple G, Gennady Golovkin. Uh, Lomachenko is like a 130 pounder, I think. He's a great, but those 5 fighters right now, like those guys are on top of the world. I want to say, and that, just that range right there is, there's a special breed, there's a special class of boxers in that range, that the world needs to pay attention to. It's not the heavyweights anymore. You got the Joshuas, you got the Wilders. The heavyweight division actually is back a little bit, but from 140 to 165, we're in a golden era. We're in a golden era. I mean, we are. I mean, we just flat out are. Floyd had his run, but he's passed it off. Floyd left. This is how great Floyd was. When he left the game, he had 6 or 7 cats worthy, ready to take his crown. When he left it undisputed. That's how a guy is great, is when he leaves. The game is better than when he entered it, and that's what I want to say about that 140 to 165 range right now. So yeah, be on the tune for Terrence Crawford, Errol Spence, Gennady Golovkin, Canelo Alvarez, and then a lighter boy is Lomachenko. Lomachenko's no joke either. Let me know what you guys think. Who's the best boxer in the world? I want you guys to let me know who the best boxer in the world is. Comment, DM in the section below. We're talking boxing. We're talking 140 to 165. We're talking about the 165 king bumping up to light heavy and knocking the light heavy out. What? Could you imagine Canelo Alvarez fighting Andre Ward? Could you imagine that? That would be a spectacle. That would be a spectacle. I mean, that will never happen, but come on, man. You know how much money that could create? Canelo Alvarez versus Andre Ward. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This fight that just happened, Canelo Alvarez beating Sergey Kovalev. Not just beating him, knocking him out. Knocking him out. That's a statement. That is a statement. Andre Ward retired, but Andre Ward had trouble with Sergey Kovalev. Andre Ward knocked out Sergey Kovalev too when he went to the body, but Sergey Kovalev put Andre Ward on the deck in the first fight in New York. So you're telling, I want to see Andre Ward fight Canelo Alvarez. He's retired now. He doesn't fight no more, but I want to see Andre Ward fight Canelo Alvarez. Man, what kind of draw would that have? That would be a spectacle. I mean, that's not gonna happen, but I'm not calling Andre Ward out from retirement or nothing, but man, just him going into light heavy. I mean, him going to light heavy is, that's you've seen great fighters do that in the past, but just like I said, great fighters do that. And so, that cements his legacy. So, yes, let me know who you guys think the best fighter in the world is. I think it's Triple G, to be honest with you. But, he's older. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford. Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford's got to be the next big fight. It's got to be the next big fight. I'm going to let you guys go. This is the Bo Show. Hit me up. Tell me what you guys think. Talk to you later.